All right. Back on the record in cause number 325044. The case of Style of State of Texas versus Stedman Deshaun Jones. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. How you doing, Mr. Jones, again?
All right.
Okay. Now, Mr. Jones, before the court went into recess, you entered a plea of guilty to the charge of interfering with public duties. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you acknowledged State's Exhibit Number 1, which was the misdemeanor plea admonishment. Also, you acknowledged State's Exhibit. Also, you acknowledged um, the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. Is that you acknowledge your signature on that? You acknowledge your initials and signatures on State's Exhibit Number 1. Is that correct?
Yes.
And also, you acknowledge that you read and that you acknowledge the judge's explanation of rights of defendants without an attorney and the waiver of counsel for proceeding or entering a guilty plea or proceeding the trial. Is that correct?
Yes.
You also acknowledge to the court that you read those documents, you understood what you read, and everything in those documents that I just mentioned
Yes.
Was true and correct to the best of your knowledge.
Yes.
All right. Now, state, we at the punishment phase. Well, the state, before we did that, the court accepted your plea of guilty. The court found that you was mentally competent to stand trial.
Yes.
The court found that your plea and waivers was freely and voluntarily given, and the court found that there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, state, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
The agreement is for 1 year deferred probation, a $500 fine, and 40 hours community service.
Of $500 fine plus court cost. Okay. Now, Mr. Jones, the state is offering that you serve 1 year of deferred adjudicated probation. And during the 1 year probationary period, you will be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $337. Now that comes to a total of $837. You will be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month and a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. Now the total monthly installments that you would have to pay is $155 per month. That is that amount. The $155 will be the total amount that you would have to pay per month on this case. Now, will you be able to pay the $155 each month?
No.
Okay. Now, Mr. Jones, I need to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Jones, are you employed?
No.
All right. Now, Mr. Jones, you do not have any income, is that correct?
Yes.
And are you married, single, divorced, separated, or widowed?
I'm not married.
Okay, so you're single.
Divorced.
Oh, you divorced?
No.
Oh, you're single? All right. Now, Mr. Jones, do you have any children?
Yes, one.
One child. Age of that child?
5 months.
Okay. Now, do you receive any type of governmental benefits, Medicaid, Social Security, SNAP, TANF, or you live in public housing?
SNAP.
You receive SNAP?
Yes.
Okay. How much you receive a month?
234, something like that.
234. Okay. And you receive any other governmental benefits? No. Okay, Mr. Jones. And what about now your residence? Do you rent, own, live with family members? Are you homeless?
I live with a friend.
Live with a friend.
Yes.
Okay, are you required to pay any rent?
No.
No rent.
No.
No utility bills either?
No.
And now your child, do you have any child expenses like child support?
No.
Okay. And your food expenses is basically what you get from SNAP?
Yes.
Okay. And any other like transportation costs? You own a car?
Yes.
How much a month do you have to pay in gas? And when I
just
say,
fill it up, and I don't really drive, so.
okay, but now let me do this here. When I talk about transportation, we also include if you're paying insurance, if you're paying maintenance fees or anything of that nature. Oh, you,
I don't really know a estimated like amount.
I mean, you have to give us your best guess as to what you think you're paying a month on gas.
Uh, I'm not really sure.
I mean, is it $5 a month, $10 a month, $100 a month,
Uh,
$500 a month,
maybe like 50, something like that.
$50 a month? Okay. Okay, you on the cell phone?
Yes.
How much you pay a month on that?
Uh, like $30.
30? Okay.
Yeah.
You're not on probation or anything, right?
No, sir.
Okay. Any medical bills?
No, sir.
Okay. Any credit card expenses?
No, sir.
Okay. That's 80, that's 330. Okay, Mr. Jones, the court is going to find that you are indigent. And what that means is that pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, the court is going to waive your, well, this is what we're gonna do. The fine and court costs in this case is gonna be converted to community service, okay? Let me do this here. Okay, the fine and court cost is a total of 800. Now, Mr. Jones, fine and court cost is gonna be converted to 67 hours of community service. Your probation fee in this case is gonna be reduced from $60 per month to $25 per month,
Yes, sir.
okay? Now, Mr. Jones, the 67 hours that we applied is the fine and court cost that has been converted. Now, let me explain this to you again, Mr. Jones. State is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During the 1 year probationary period, you're required to pay a fine and court cost of $500. Well, you're required to pay a fine of $500 and court cost of $337. The total fine and court cost of $837 is going to be converted to 67 hours of community service. Your probation fee of $60 each month will be reduced to $25 a month. And you'll be required to pay the unanimous fee of $15. And the Jefferson County Probation Department will convert, they'll work out the figures in terms of how much you'll be paying per month, because there'll be a note in the judgment that states that your fine and court cost is converted to community service. So you're not paying that.
Okay.
You'll be doing community service. And it'll be a note that says that your probation fee of $60 is reduced to $25
Okay.
per month. So what it looks like, just my math, 15 plus 25 is $40. Probably be paying something like $40 a month.
Okay. So, and what about the time served that I served on this case?
That's something that, I mean, if that's something you can negotiate with the prosecution prior to this. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I had y'all to talk to see if that's gonna be something y'all gonna, if she's considered that, y'all can consider that in the plea bargain. What I have before me is an agreement between you and the state. Okay?
Earlier, Judge, when we broke off earlier.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't get into the negotiation between you and the defendant.
Well, I'm just saying our agreement was that that was not considered.
Okay, well, but your fees right now, you only paying, it's gonna be like it's $40 a month,
Okay.
okay?
Yes, sir.
And that's because we reduced the probation fee to 25, and you're paying your analysis fee of $15 each month,
Okay.
okay? But you're working off the fine and the court costs.
So total hours is 67?
No, no.
That's-
So, hold
that's
on,
the-
hold on, yeah, I didn't finish.
okay.
Now, the state is also requiring that you perform 40 hours of regular community service hours. So the 40 plus
So
the
100
67,
107.
107.
Okay,
Do you understand that?
yes, sir.
And you'll also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of probation. Now, Mr. Jones, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes,
Do you think that the state's offer in your case, with the adjustments that the court has made, is fair and just?
yes,
And do you accept it?
yes,
Okay, Mr. Jones, I'll follow people are in agreement and make the following and make the adjustments pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Okay, Mr. Jones, stand on the X in front of our court coordinator. And once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
you too, thank you.
Okay, now, Ms. Jones, we're back on the record. Excuse me, Ms. Benjamin, we're back on the record in clause number 33050-1. Case and style of State of Texas versus Janika Benjamin. Ms. Benjamin, you appeared before the court earlier in this case, and you entered a plea of guilty to the charge of theft class B. You acknowledge that states exhibit number one of misdemeanor plea admonishments. You acknowledge your initials and your signature. You also acknowledge your signature on the trial court certification to defendant's right of appeal. You also acknowledge that in the judge's explanation of rights to defendants without an attorney, you acknowledge your signature and your initials on this document, and you acknowledge your signature on a document that is titled waiver of counsel for purposes of entering a guilty plea or proceeding to trial. I think you also acknowledge that you read these documents and everything in these documents was true and correct to the best of your knowledge. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, when the court proceeded with the state offering state's exhibit number 1, which is the misdemeanor plea admonishment, which is the document that, where is it? That's this document right here, this document that you say you acknowledged it, and that these were your initials on page 2 of this document, and you acknowledged that this was your signature on page 3 of this document. You acknowledged that you read and understood everything in this document. It's everything in this document is true and correct to the best of your knowledge. Now, the state offered to enter this document as evidence in your case. And is it all right for the state to use this document as evidence in your case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No objection. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Now, Ms. Benjamin, is there any evidence that you're currently mentally incompetent to stand trial? Do you have any mental illness?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
As a child diagnosed with ADHD.
that's your child.
Mhm.
Okay, but you understand why you're here.
As a child.
Okay, as a child, okay. Do you understand why you're here?
Mhm.
You understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Okay. You understand the consequence of you entering a plea of guilty or no contest?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, so Ms. Benjamin, I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. State, do we have now, Ms. Benjamin, do you want to go forward with this plea or not? We don't mean go forward. Do you want to go through with it? Do you want to, with your plea of guilty?
Mhm.
You do? All right. Now, Ms. Benjamin, I will find that you are mentally competent to stand, well, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given, okay? And you acknowledge that, let me do this here. Then I think I went through this document with you previously, didn't I?
Mhm.
And you understood everything that we went through?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, so Ms. Benjamin, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you're mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And-
1 year, deferred adjudicated probation, a $300 fine, and 20 hours community service.
Okay. So that's, Ms. Benjamin, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $300 plus court costs of $292. The total fine and court costs is $592 that you will pay over the 1 year period of deferred probation. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month and a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. Now, the total amount that you would have to pay a month, they add all of this stuff up and divide it. The total amount that you would have to pay per each month is $130 a month. Now, would you be able to pay the $130 a month? No, you have to say, you have to.
Not all. I can't pay the whole.
Okay, okay, so you won't be able to pay the $130 a month. Do we have a waiver, indigency? Okay, I'm gonna need another. Could you reach me that affidavit of indigency that's up there?
I have 2 kids. my
Okay,
son,
we're
my-
gonna, just hold your hearts. I gotta go over this here with you. All right? And then what you're saying, I'll be asking you those questions and I'll be writing it down here.
Oh,
Okay. All right, now, let's see, Benjamin. Now, Ms. Benjamin, are you employed? Do you have a job?
Yes,
You do? Okay. Now, do you receive any governmental assistance like Medicaid?
yes,
You do?
mhm,
Okay. And what about SSI?
no,
What about SNAP?
yes,
Okay. TANF?
no.
Do you live in public housing?
I stay in an income-based apartment.
I think that's would be public housing. Okay. Well, all right. Now, now you said you had, now you married, single, divorced, separated, or divorced, or separated,
Single,
single. Now, how many children do you have?
2.
And what are their ages?
I have a 4-year-old and a 7-month-year-old.
Okay,
My
so you got,
7-month-old.
okay, you got a 4-year-old and a 7-month?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, are you receiving any child support?
No, sir.
Okay, no child, okay. How much you get a month on SNAP?
It's me, my mom, and my 2 kids, so it could be like 500.
5, okay. And those, okay. And other, okay. Okay, you did. Yeah, okay. Okay, now, you live in government housing, right? You own a car?
I'm financing a car.
So you buying one? That's what you're saying, you're financing?
Yeah, I'm paying notes on it.
Okay, that'll be in transportation costs. How much you paying a month?
300.
300. And gas, how much you pay a month on gas?
It's a lot of like utilities.
No, I mean, your, on your vehicle. In
30 times.
You say 30, about 30 a week? That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
So you're roughly 120 a month? Okay. And what about car insurance?
398.
A month?
Mhm.
Wow, that's 3, that's 6, 5, 3, 6, 7, 8, 18. Wow. Okay, now, and your SNAP covers the food that you have per month, right? Or do you have to pay extra?
Pay extra.
How much extra do you pay about?
Probably like 200-300 more cash.
I'll just say 800, okay. Wow. And you don't get child support, that's what you said?
No, sir.
Now, what's your rent?
I don't have any rent right now.
Okay, and utility bills?
I pay $80 gas and like $131 lights.
Okay. 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 Okay.
I do that all for myself. I take care of my family.
I see it. So I'm looking at your child expenses now. Now how much are you spending on your children? Because I know you don't receive child support.
Whatever.
Just give me a good guess.
Pampers,
Yeah.
wipes,
You got a
meals,
7-month-old, another 4-year-old.
about 3, 4, 500.
5? Okay. You have a cell phone?
Yes,
How much you paying on that?
$10.
Okay. And you're not on probation or anything, right? And okay, no medical expenses? None. Okay, so the court is gonna find that you're indigent. And let me do this here. Now, you do work. I didn't put where you work at.
Buffalo Wild
Oh,
Wings.
okay. Okay.
I might be looking for a new job.
Okay, I understand. Now, what we do, the court is gonna find that you're indigent and pursuant to Article 42, uh, 15 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, your fine and court costs of, well, first of all, your probation fee is gonna be reduced from $60 to $25 per month. Okay, and then your fine and court costs of, which is $592, is gonna be converted to 47 hours of community service. Okay, so Ms. Benjamin, let me read this to you again. State is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During the 1 year deferred adjudicated probationary period, you'll be required to the state is offering that you pay a fine of $300 plus court costs of $292, which comes to a total of $592. The fine and court costs total of $592 will be converted to 47 hours of community service. And your probation fee is going to be reduced from $60 to $25 each month. And you'll be required to pay a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. Now, just roughly off the top of my head, it looks like that once they add the fine of $25 and the urinalysis fee of $15 each month, it probably comes to a total of about $40, because your fine and court costs is being reduced, is being converted to community service. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, you'll also be required to perform 20 hours of community service. And the 45 hours will be in addition to the 20 hours. So that's a total of 65 hours of community service. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You'll also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Ms. Benjamin, do you understand the state's offer and the court's adjustment?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that it's fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Benjamin, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Benjamin, please stand on the X to your left. You're gonna follow the directions of our court clerk, and once you finish following those directions, you'll be free to leave, and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. Can I get paperwork
You-
where I can do community service at?
Your probation office will give all that to you. Once you go to probation, they're gonna give you all of that information.
Okay, so, I need,
You're gonna be going to probation, and you just tell them that, they'll look at it, and they'll be able to provide you with all of that information.
when I start,
The probation officer will be able to tell you all of that information.
they're gonna contact me,
No, you go into probation as soon as you gotta be over there today.
when I.
She's gonna tell you all, she's gonna give you all that information. Okay, now this will conclude this case. You could do it. Now, Ms. Benjamin, if you successfully complete your probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It will not appear on your record as a conviction, and you may qualify for non-disclosure. You can talk to an attorney about your non-disclosure. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Do you swear that you've never before been placed on deferred adjudication or regular probation for a felony or misdemeanor in this or any other state?
Yes.
Okay, and you have no pending charges that you're aware of?
Yes. I do.
Oh, you do? Okay. And
Well, I got a ticket coming from Houston.
okay, so like a traffic citation? Okay, so that's actually gonna be class C.
Yes.
I don't know if, I don't still put it in. Okay, so you're just gonna report to this address as soon as you leave here, and they'll go over everything with you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay. We're back on the record on the court's arraignment docket. Let's see. First case, well, one of the last cases that we have is that Jose Zanega.
That was, recent.
That was reset. Okay. And well, Valentine was reset. Reset. Is that Kang Trong?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We're on the record in three cases. First case is clause number 329458. Second case is clause number 329460. And the third case is clause number 329462. All three cases are styled the state of Texas versus Kang Nak Trong. Kang Nak Trong was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. for the court's arraignment docket on today's date, which is August 10 of 2021. At or about 9 a.m., the court's bailiff called the name of Kang Trong at the courthouse door, and Mr. Trong did not answer. Mr. Trong has not been in court since the court's been in session since 9. And the time now is 12:17 p.m. on today's date. Madam Bailiff, would you please call the name of Kang Trong?
Yes, sir.
Kang Trong's name was just called at the courthouse door by the court's bailiff. Kang Trong did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Trong an opportunity to appear in court. For the arraignment docket, he has not appeared. State, do you have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would move for a habeas and a bond forfeiture in all three cases, Your Honor.
Mr. Kang Trong bonds will be forfeited in clause number 329458, clause number 329460, and clause number 329462, and a warrant shall be issued for his arrest in all three cases. Next case is Geraldo Martinez. Mr. Geraldo Martinez was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. for the court's arraignment docket, and his name was called at or about 9 a.m. by the court's bailiff. He did not answer. Mr. Martinez has not appeared in court since the court's been in session. The time now is 12:19 p.m. on today's date. Madam Bailiff, would you please call the name of Geraldo Martinez?
Yes, sir. Geraldo Martinez.
No response, Your Honor.
Geraldo Martinez's name was just called again by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Mr. Martinez did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Martinez an opportunity to appear in court. He has not appeared in court since the court's been in session. State, do you have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, state would move for a KPS and a bond forfeiture.
That motion will be granted. Geraldo Martinez bond will be forfeited in cause number 329530, and a warrant shall be issued for his arrest. And this will conclude the calling of the arraignment docket in County Court at Law Number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas.